great opportunity, a great resource that the nation owes an awful lot to, and that is well worth the investment. Thank you. I'd be happy to take a question or two if there's time, John. Okay. Or none? Nancy. I just blew the 3x5 card system, didn't I?
There is also some great unknowns and possible unintended consequences of some of these huge maneuvering of land and people and water.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult part, is you optimize for hurricane protection, you definitely aren't optimizing for restoration. If you optimize for restoration, then you minimize the kinds of hard structures that cause those unintended consequences to ecosystems. Is there a happy medium? Part of the happy medium would be made more easy if the protection were limited to certain areas, the physical protection, and certain areas were just agreed not to be protected. That's been talked about from hurricanes. That's been talked about. Very hard to do, particularly in a state with very strong local politics and very strong influence of those politics. So it puts the scientific community in a difficult position, but it also puts people making decisions about which projects to implement. And I think your choice of words, unintended consequences, are clearly the ones that both systems have to worry about as they're implemented.
I was wondering if there are any plans to designate protected areas as part of the restoration plan?
Are there any plans to designate
protected areas?
Protected areas, in a formal sense?
Yeah.
And are you talking about protection of natural species sorts of things as opposed to people?
Yeah, like provincial, parks or nature reserves.
I think the current distributions of things like Rockefeller Refuge and the parks and things are taken into consideration in the planning. I'm not sure, and some of the Louisiana folks may know, that there are any special attention being paid to them beyond their current status. Not aware of it. Okay.
What are your thoughts on sea level rise?
Scares the heck out of me.
Shouldn't it be considered in your planning?
And I think it's one of the big debates about restoration is whether or not the restoration process, assuming you can put sediments into the system, whether the restoration process can stay ahead of sea level rise, or particularly with small amounts of physical sediment, clays and sands, whether the organic component of the wetland system buildup can stay ahead of sea level rise. And there are, here we go again, differences of opinion among the scientific community members about that. Denise Reed would argue that organic buildup can, at the lower end of projected sea level rise, keep up with it at least for a few decades, but can it keep up very long? If you put a large amount of sediment and water in there, the accretion rates that we saw under the natural kinds of conditions, it almost certainly could. But will we ever get to that point? So very legitimate, a good question, a legitimate argument, and one that is one of the more unsettling aspects of restoration of such a low-lying, near sea level coastal area. Peter, I think I've done it. Thank you.